Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jupiter's Croc here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. This is the channel for all things Spartacus, right,
We
guys?
kind of
All
are.
things Spartacus now. We've gained a bunch of subscribers from our House of Asher series. We had previously gone through all four of the other original seasons of the Spartacus show, and we figured, hey, let's just do it again because people apparently liked watching and listening to us talk to it. So we're going to rewatch.
We really half-assed those previous episodes. The first season was just nothing but a screenshot with us talking, no video. Eventually we moved on to just chatting over poker. Uh yeah, let's do it
Yeah.
right
We're
this time because we're
we're
not
like
doing this
D.
again.
We're doing like cheap D level YouTubing right now with cheap webcams. Like, but the quality of those previous episodes, that was like Z level. Exactly what Steve said. There wasn't even video. We were yelling about poker. It was throwing off everything. But we've evolved now to extreme D level YouTubing.
Yeah.
Shitty
So
webcams.
we're gonna go through the entire series, folks. So I'll probably post these on Saturdays rather than Fridays. Just to give me some more extra time to be able to
Just
put
to
these
throw
things
the
all
viewing
together.
pattern off and make people
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's nothing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good work,
So
that.
so Saturdays is when I'll post these. But yeah, we're gonna go through the entire original series again, and we are gonna start off with Blood and Sand. We had a question of should we start with Gods of the Arena or do Blood and Sand. I think Steve, you said, hey, let's start in air date order, and sort of work our way through it that way. So that is the
Let's
plan.
get the
Yeah.
worst over.
Is that how we I honestly don't even remember if that's how we did it before.
No, before we started with
We
the
did
prequel
Gods of the Arena.
series,
Yeah, we started Gods of
and
the Arena
then
before.
so yeah, I just wanted to get the episodes that I know I dislike out of the way. And Ronan was like, you know what, let's just cover the first three episodes in just one episode, so we don't have to. We could just get past them. And I was like, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you see, it
that's
was a
the way
good
to
plan.
be. But then Matt, of course, couldn't handle it.
No time. No time to watch them all. No time to watch them all. Sorry, guys.
My
Sorry.
house is underwater, and I would have had time to watch all 3 of them.
Fair.
We would
Now
have
we should
made time to advance to the pit as soon as we possibly could.
yeah, we should point out right now. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Journey with us over the next 39 weeks or whatever as we discuss all of Spartacus. We all love this original show. It's probably in our top 5 shows of all time. The first 3 episodes are a little rough. And it's not just us, folks. Even Stephen DeKnight has said on the audio commentary tracks, like the first 3, they were feeling their way and they weren't great. So we might not have a ton of great things to say for these first 3
Oh,
episodes,
we
but
don't.
once the pit hits, folks, it's going to be just us, gushing over how much we love this show.
Yeah.
Hopefully, upon a rewatch. Hopefully, maybe our taste.
Another rewatch of a rewatch.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, let's get to it. The first episode here is called The Red Serpent. This is what kicks it all off. Before we just get into the plot, do you guys remember sort of how we originally started watching this show in the first place? Ronan, I'll throw it to you. Do you remember how we began watching this or
The
why we
very
began watching
first
this?
time it aired?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that it was probably you. I'm saying this pointing, even though I'm pointing at you on the screen, but nobody knows what I'm pointing to. But I'm pretty sure it was you like 10 plus years ago, back in the Xbox 360 days, back in the days when you would go to a website and read the post instead of going to YouTube to click a video. But
Yeah.
we were playing probably Left 4 Dead or something, and you guys probably mentioned this show because I don't see how this show would have fallen into my lap any other way because I am not really a TV show guy. Like there are shows that I will watch, but by and large, I really like if someone tells me about a great new, oh, you have to watch the great, you have to watch Fallout, you have to watch such and it's like I don't really care about TV shows. It's probably good, but I'm not going to watch it. Just straight up. But it was probably you guys who brought it to
Yeah.
my attention, and we were like, "Yeah, we're going to review it on like we're going to review it and do it like we're going to talk about it every week on podcasts." And yeah, that's how it came to my attention. Probably.
Okay. Steve, do you remember how you got into this show back in the day?
Again, you suggested I watch this, and you were always happy to pick my brain as to who my favorite gladiator was because you knew the deaths were coming.
Yeah. That's it.
I
Also, I
distinctly
was
remember
yes.
Matt asking me, who's your favorite gladiator so far? And I said, oh, I was probably like 6 episodes into the series. I was like, oh, I really like Vero. And Matt just goes,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Matt sitting there like,
Well, I also distinctly remember because when I see like a really cool show, it's like I want to introduce to my friends to watch this. I do remember it was sort of like this would show up. Was it? God, it was on Stars, but I remember
yeah.
we were able to watch it on Friday nights, like when it premiered on Xbox or something.
I think it was.
Because
I think they were debuting it on Netflix. I think because
something like that.
I watched this has like just exactly like House of Asher. I watched this show in its original run. Has it debuted every week? It came out. I was like, oh, I can't wait. Like I was working at a fucking ice cream shop at the time, and there were people who worked. There were people there who were watching this. So I would come in and be like, hey, yo, Alex, what's up? He's like, oh, Lithia, that fucking whore, that bitch. It's like, oh,
Oh,
I can't stand her.
goddess. God, you mean the goddess Alithia? Is that
Well,
what
I
she's the
mean,
goddess?
she is, but she is also horribly evil. So,
I
True.
can fix her.
We can all fix her. We can all fix her. But I do distinctly remember telling you guys, hey, the first 3 episodes, you got to get through the first 3 episodes. You got to get through it because I think a lot of people might just give up on this show if they just get through episode 1 or 2 and even into 3, like, I'm done with this. But
I would wager that's what happened to the show is people watched the
maybe
first 1 or 2 because that's in fairness, that would be that's a fair thing. You can't it's not fair to tell somebody, no, 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 no. You have to keep watching. This show gets great in season 3, which is what you guys told me about Green Arrow and Flash, and that's
No,
after
no, that was
Arrow.
the opposite. Both Green Arrow and Flash got real bad in season 3 after being great in
they
seasons
were
1 and
good the
2.
first 1 and 2. Yeah.
The first season of Arrow is fucking dog shit. It gets a little better
Disagree.
with Manu Bennett. So that's a whole different rant. But like, it's not fair to tell somebody, no, no, no. You have to. It's the same thing with video games. It's like, no, no, trust me. This RPG opens up and becomes amazing after 40 hours. Well, fuck you. I want 40 hours of fun before I get to 40 hours of fun.
What I'm hearing Ronan saying is Jupiter's Croc goes into the Arrowverse after this because there's so much crossover. They basically have to be in
Tons.
continuity with one another.
My boy Crixus plays Deathstroke.
Yeah, like
Literally the only good thing
Asher's-
about that show.
Yeah, Asher's great times 1,000 grandchild becomes Captain Boomerang. It's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, this show is great. We're gonna struggle over the
Eventually,
next.
it's great.
Yeah. Once it hits episode 4, it gets great. The first 3 episodes here over the next few weeks. Leave a comment down below if you disagree with what we discuss about this one. But trust us, we will gush about the show and how much we love it, beginning with episode 4. But we're on episode 1, the Red Serpent. And Steve, let's Plotacus your way through this one. What's this all about?
Let me make sure the connection stays good.
Oh no.
The show starts with a man whose name we never actually learn. He is in a prisoner cell in the arena, and he hears his frenemy named Drennis out in the arena fighting a gladiator. And then we flash back to how all of this started, and he was a Thracian just warrior, and the Getai or the Getai are
Get high.
fighting Romans, and Glaber says, "Hey, Thracians, I know we haven't always been
Well, who's
friends."
Glaber, Steve? Who's Glaber?
Yeah, you're setting this up poorly.
You're like, hey, Glaber, like everyone knows who Glaber is. Who's Glaber?
Everyone
better,
watching this
Steve.
show knows who Glaber. Everyone
Do
listening to us right now knows
better.
who Glaber is. Uh, Glaber is a legatus with a Roman army or legion. So he's a high rank. He's the highest ranking Roman dude in this area that they're in. And he goes to the Thracians and says, "Hey, I know we haven't always been friends, but let's join forces and fight the Getai." And Spartacus keeps saying, "To what end?" And everyone's like, "What the fuck do you mean? Like we're gonna fight the Getai
For
and,
victory.
Well,
Spartacus."
excuse me, Glaber wants their help fighting someone else. And the carrot to the stick to this is,
Mithridates.
you help me kill these guys, and we will annihilate the Getai for you. So,
Yeah.
like, it's a carrot and stick. Help us out, and then we'll annihilate your enemies.
well, what the thing that Spartacus actually wants is the annihilation.
Genocide. He wants
Spartacus,
genocide.
hero of this show, the man that we will come to know as Spartacus, is advocating for. See, Matt, the nerd rope is treating Ronan poorly right now.
It is. It is.
I'm trying to find the mute button.
That's why I don't eat that shit, guys. Vern's
Uh,
gonna die live on stream.
Anyways, Spartacus, I'm going to call him Spartacus. If you watch the show, you know that's not his name. Spartacus says all of them dead. Spartacus is advocating for the ethnic cleansing of the Getae,
He's
remove
going
Well,
for the
Getae
Israel
from all
policy.
Roman lands.
to be
Uh,
fair, the Getae, he said, are assaulting their women, killing all the people, burning their homes. So I
so
mean,
so what we're
he's
hearing
got
is
grievances.
I had jokes for that. I'm just going to move on and let him go.
This is what we like to call the Israel policy, is what
Oh,
Spartacus is going
Yeah,
for.
Matt's basically saying genocide is fine if there's enough bad people on the other side of it.
no, I didn't say that. I simply said that Spartacus has his reasons as to why he wants all these
So
people
a genocide is
dead.
okay as long as you think it's in your heart of hearts that it's a good idea and it needs to happen. That's the
I'm
quote
not
from
saying that.
that's the
I'm
quote from
not
my good
saying that
friend
at
Matt
all.
here.
I'm simply
I
saying
mean,
that Spartacus is just trying to live in his village with his friends and family, and these people keep coming and killing them all.
yeah, look, I mean,
And
Matt's
I'm just giving him his motivation as to why he wants to then kill all these people who continually attack and assault.
that's worse than the Bush doctrine. This is like
You guys are like, yeah, let him just keep pillaging and plundering Spartacus. Let
Anyways,
him just
we're gonna
take it.
move on. Spartacus says all of them dead, and Glaber says, "Okay, all of them dead." And so Spartacus goes home to his wife Sura, and they fuck, and eventually, it's Sura is at first she's on board with this, but then they go to sleep, they wake up, and turns out she's had a bad dream. The gods have come to her and said that I had this vision of you kneeling before a red serpent, and great and terrible things are going to great and what's the quote? Great and terrible, great and unfortunate. I don't know. Bad things are going to happen to you if you actually leave for this fight. And Spartacus is like, you dumb fuck. The gods aren't real.
the
Uh,
Getae worship wolf gods. They don't use
yes, they
snakes.
don't
Silly
use
woman. Let me
snakes.
mansplain this to you.
Uh,
Great and unfortunate things, I
Great and
think is what.
unfortunate things. Okay, and so Spartacus like blows her off, and she's like, "Well, it's gonna be cold. What am I gonna do without you?" And so he takes a purple ribbon and ties it around her thigh, and Sora's like, "Okay, I'm convinced. Kill them all." And so
I
then
was watching this with Alyssa, and she laughed because Spartacus is like, keep this close to your thigh, and it warms the thoughts of both of us, or something. And she was like, "Oh my god, you guys!" I mean, I'm just like,
I mean,
"Hey, this
clearly
gets
she thought it
good."
was.
This
She thought it was great, right? Right?
No, she
Right?
fell asleep. She fell asleep during it. She fell asleep during
uh,
it.
so anyways, so Sora says, "Kill them all," and then Spartacus green screen jogs through multiple weather patterns and multiple battles.
This is
And
when I
eventually,
put in the Discord that like the effects in this show they weren't good when it came out, and like it's always been known. It's never like, oh, it's not like we suddenly realized, oh man, this was rough. But watching it on my nice brand new shiny 4K with the 4K the proper cables in it, it's like this looked probably the worst it has ever looked.
It's bad.
well,
It
I
I
could
looks real
borderline
bad.
I
see
watched
green
it.
screen in between the strands of his hair. I was like, fuck, this is
I
bad.
watched it
God
on
damn.
a little Chromebook, and it did not look good there either.
Oh,
Uh,
because like Steve's got like a 13-inch cathode ray tube television that he watches everything on. So
You
yes,
still got a Super Nintendo and Chrono
I
Trigger
don't
plugged
need
into it.
I don't need a big TV. I have nothing to compensate for. I am secure in my TV masculinity. But anyway, Spartacus eventually he and the other Thracians they are attacking the Getae. They are I don't know, like barbarian esque people, and the Thracians are getting pissed because every battle that we see is essentially, or every battle that's been happening. We only see this one, but they're basically the Romans send in the Thracians, let the Thracians do all the work, and then when basically everyone is when the bad guys or the enemies are in retreat, then come the Romans to mop things up. And so the Thracians are getting very upset by this. Later on at night, they're I don't know, having dinner, which apparently is equivalent to piss and shit. They're complaining,
They're
Glaber and the Roman
Gruel and porridge.
they're in a snowstorm, and none
Wearing
of them are
nothing.
wearing
in fur
anything.
bikinis.
There is literally snow, prop snow, building up on their rugged leather straps that don't cover up anything, and there's just like prop snow on it, and they're shit talking the gruel that they've got.
You could tell, like back in the day when they were making this, they were like, "Oh, this will look cool. We'll CGI this all up, and this will look awesome."
Three assholes in a computer won't shit talk this later
No,
on. That'll
that
never happen.
doesn't look great. Doesn't look
Yeah.
great.
So Spartacus and Drinus start fighting. Drinus is, fuck the Romans. We should all just leave and get out of here. They're down there in their warm camps eating, meat, and we've got, this piss and shit that they give us to eat. And Spartacus is like, sorry, I gave them my word. I'm not going to desert. And Drinus is like, oh, fuck your word. You just want to impress your wife. And he has some like horrible statement, like, you just, no matter what a man says he's fighting for, it just comes down to a pair of tits and a tight hole. And Spartacus and Spartacus and
There's
him.
so much truth to that, though. There's so much truth.
It's a Spartacus and Drinus get into a fight, and as they're fighting, some, I don't know if it's Glaber, a couple of Romans, which may or may not include Glaber, show up and say, "Hey, we need some advanced scouts. You two
Glaber's
fighting
there,
there,
yeah.
your punishment is to go be our advanced scouts." And so Spartacus and Drinus have to go out and scout, and they kind of use this time to bond and become friendly. And they sneak up to like a cliffside, and they look down and they see the Getae forces. And at first, Drinus is like, "Oh, they're retreating," and Spartacus is like, "No, they're not. They're heading west. They're heading to our villages." And so
Better let
Spartacus
them. Better let them. We wouldn't want to like stop them and kill them or anything. We better let them.
So Spartacus goes back to Glaber, and he's like, they're heading west. We gotta rally. We gotta rally the forces and get everyone out there. If we march with purpose, we can get out there in just a couple days. And Glaber's like, eh, I don't know about this. So Glaber sends him away, and it turns out Drinus had stolen Glaber's wine, and so they get drunk and have a good time.
Was that
Lithia,
before? Oh, okay, I was gonna say, was that before or
I don't
after
remember if it
Lithia?
was
Like,
before or after. They take place close to the same point, but I don't remember
It
the
was
exact order
it
anymore.
technically is after because Alithia brings him the wine, and she
Right.
she is also the one who kind of plies into his ear that what you're doing here, kind of, because this is Alithia in her, like, brat girl period. And so she is, like, at this point she's trying to whisper into his ear about how, this is really kind of beneath you and thus beneath me, your wife, and this is, you really should tell these Thracians to go fuck off and go fight this other guy, so we, and by we I mean me, can go back to Rome and brag about how great this was. And that's what puts the spark in his ear of like, yeah, fuck these
yeah.
Thracians.
Well, I mean, she
Yeah.
she sneaks into his tent, right, wearing many animals, and nothing else.
Yeah, she's wearing a fur coat.
I'm not saying she wasn't persuasive.
Yeah, Viva
Yes.
Bianca, goddess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know that I would hear the words coming out of her mouth at this point. I would just nod and smile and yes, whatever you
Whatever
want,
you
honey.
want. Yes, whatever you
Uh,
want.
So anyways, yeah, Alithia shows up to Glaber's camp either before or after this scene and basically tells him, you are supposed to be fighting Mithridates, and Glaber says someone named Cato. I don't know if we ever see that character, but this other Roman military person is fighting him, and Glaber refers to him as a consul, and Lithia's like, he's stealing your thunder, and Glaber's like, he's a consul, he's allowed to fucking do that. But Alithia starts worm tonguing him and telling him, you should just
Worm tongue
Do
me.
it.
Alithia.
Yeah,
Worm
you
tongue
should
me.
do it.
you should just abandon your orders and go fight Mithridates or whatever his name is, and just get all the glory. And by the way, have I mentioned I'm not wearing anything underneath this coat? And so Glaber's like, yes, honey. I don't know what you
Sure.
just said, but I agree with it.
Yes,
Best
ma'am.
idea I've ever heard.
Yeah. And so it's like the next day.
Well, we should point out that the underlying current here is that Alithia's dad does not like Glaber, and if Glaber doesn't come back with some sort of like glory, then it's going to be
Yeah,
bad for
and
Glaber.
Litha's dad is like a senator, and you get the feeling that she basically married beneath her station, but she's a daddy's girl, and daddy is senator is trying to keep her happy by giving shitbag Glaber the opportunity to prove himself, which he obviously never does. So Glaber is underachieving consistently in the eyes of Alithia's dad. Uh, so now it's the next day, and Drennis is drunk as shit, and he and Spartacus wake up, and they hear that, oh, okay, the Romans are mobilizing, and Spartacus is like, fuck yeah, we're gonna go west and kill the Getae, and then Glaber shows up and is like, actually we're heading east towards Mithridates, and so Spartacus is like, the fuck, like, we pledged to kill the Getae, and you said that, if we support you, we will ethnically cleanse the Getae, and Glaber's like, you committed to Rome, you will do what the fucking Romans tell you to do, and Spartacus says no. And when he says no, Glaber pulls out his sword, and his horse starts to rear back. And Spartacus tries to like grab like the reins on the horse, but they break, and Glaber falls off his horse. And I think it's one of the Romans that just yells, "Kill them!" And so now it's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
fucking fight. And some of the Thracians, maybe it's Spartacus, I don't know. Some of them are like, "What the fuck? Everyone, calm the shit
It's
down. We
Spartacus
should not
yelling
be
for them
fighting
to
this."
not do it. Spartacus is like, "Don't do it, don't do it," and all of the other Thracians just like start
Yeah.
poking and stabbing anything with a red cape.
Yep, and we see the thing that Spartacus becomes known for is throwing things. He throws a sword, he throws a spear. I'm waiting for like 3 seasons from now when Gannicus is in awe of Spartacus's ability to throw a spear, because those are when the episodes are good. Uh, and so everyone, the Glaber escapes, but the rest of the Romans are routed easily by these leftover Thracians. And so now Spartacus just decides, well,
Fuck 'em.
I could just go home. They won't find me. It's not like they know where I live or anything. And so
The
Spartacus,
show could have been over if Spartacus would have just been like, actually put a sword in Glaber, who's
I
passed out in
think
the
I
middle.
think the
Just
I
put a
think the
sword in him.
Romans would have still found him. Just put
I don't know. Do you think? I
the
mean, there
show
was like
show could also be
3
over.
Romans there.
The show could also be over if Spartacus went home to Sura and was like, how about we keep walking that way for a few days? But no, that's not what happened. Spartacus
because
just,
there like this moment does bring up a lot of multiverse what ifs. Like I don't know what Spartacus was doing trying to grab the reins of the horse when the horse was like doing its thing. Like, but like when he does it, it like breaks the strap and somehow throws Glaber off, and that's what makes the Romans think he's attacking them when he's not. But so it's like, okay, if he hadn't tried to do that, how would this have went? If Alithia hadn't shown up and been a little brat and been like, no, let's do the other thing and let's violate these rules and get great honor and glory. How different would that have made things?
this entire show though is, it's like every bad thing happens because someone is a bag of fucking dicks when they didn't need to be a bag of dicks. That's just consistently throughout the show. Like, imagine Spartacus where everyone is just a good dude. And we wouldn't
Or
have
a
a show,
regular dude.
obviously. Yeah, not even
Just
a
a
good
normal
dude.
person.
Just a completely average person. But everyone in this show is trying to screw over the person next to them. Obviously there are some exceptions. The gladiators eventually like find common ground, but God, so many things go wrong in this show specifically because someone is a bag of dicks
But
Great
for
and
no
also,
reason.
unfortunate things.
also an important note, everything that goes wrong in this show is also very well set up. And it doesn't just randomly happen. You like there is buildup to all of this, like even what happens like in this episode, as not necessarily great as this is, like stuff still is like, okay, well, we like this setup. It's like he grabbed the reins for the there's still setup and payoff for stuff.
So
That's
Ronan
fair.
saying thumbs up to episode 1 of Spartacus. So anyway, Spartacus just decides, I'm gonna go home. Yeah, it's fine. Like, Glaber doesn't know where I live. It'll be cool. So he goes home and he finds Sura being attacked by the Getae, and obviously they fight him off. They're both safe, and they just go home and fuck. and the next day
They
they
do
wake.
not go
Well,
home because
no,
their
they don't
home
just
is
go
burned to the
home. Yeah,
ground.
remember they
Okay,
walk
whatever.
up and their village is burned to the ground. And
They
Steve's
go.
like, "That's good,
They
good."
they go they go to an area that is very close by to where Glabber knows they live. Because they're just laying out in the open on their fucking like fur blankets, and they wake up and there's fucking Glabber and the Romans, and Glabber is very upset. And obviously the Romans take Sura and they carry her away. We won't see her for another 6 or 7 episodes. And Glaber tells Spartacus, he pulls out these orders that he has, and he's like, I have been called back to Rome. That's not a good thing. That basically I've been called into the manager's office to have a
That
chat
all
with him.
happened in the span of 24 hours.
Yes.
Glaber gets knocked out.
Again,
Spartacus runs back
all of
home,
these
and they
all of
get
these
a note
shows
from Rome that says, "Hey, you got to come back all within 24 hours."
all of these shows that we watch, like they all seem to have the common shitty thread of how fucking how fucking long is all this stuff taking?
We
Did
can
this take a
figure that
couple
out
of
though, because
days
no,
or
no,
12
no.
hours?
It's been a couple days because Spartacus says when he sees the Getae marching west, we can get home, we can cut them off if we march for a few days. This is
I
not
think he said
happening in
3 days we can
three
cut
days,
them off
sure.
here.
So it's like Spartacus, he and Drinus presumably march home towards home for 3 days, and then Glaber and his people who have fucking horses get there in a shorter amount of time. This is not a
No,
24-hour period.
how did Glaber get the orders to return home to Rome?
Other people
And
on
that
horses.
and that they're not in Rome.
It's fine.
Thrace is
It's
somewhere in
fine.
They're not even near Italy.
Thrace is somewhere. It's somewhere in Spain. Like in the really real world, where Spartacus, he would have been he would have been Spanish, but like I'm assuming there were like Roman outposts along the way where someone higher up than Glaber said, like it's that like how the message got there. It's like even if you want to kind of say, oh well, someone else like closer by said no, fuck you, go to Rome and have them chew you out for what you did. But even that doesn't make sense. Like
Okay.
that.
Okay, I'm looking here. Where was Thrace? Was not in Spain. Thrace was an ancient region located in the southeastern Balkans, encompassing areas that are today southern Bulgaria, northeastern Greece, and European Turkey.
Oh,
It was
okay. Well, the
nowhere
sh- the,
close
the
to Rome.
show the show called them the Spanish lands of Thrace. That is like those lines are said in this fucking episode.
I don't remember that being said. Do you,
Yeah, yeah,
Steve?
that is
Honestly,
said in
Spanish?
this
I don't
episode.
remember.
I was kind of reading Reddit while this episode was going on because I remember everything that happened in it.
I don't blame you. There's not really
Anyways,
anything to
look,
scratch.
there's absolutely some time abyss fuckery going on in this show throughout the show. Not as bad as fucking Rome, Jesus
Oh yeah.
Christ. But
It's
there are
really
definitely
hard to beat that.
times where the scene that we're watching could take place an hour after the previous scene. It could take place 6 years after the previous scene. We have no fucking idea. Anyways, Glaber shows up with these mystery orders that materialize in his hand. He's getting called into his manager's office. He's not happy about it. He says that his auxiliary, they all deserted after Spartacus's attack. And so in vengeance, out of vengeance for this, taking your wife, we're gonna sell her into slavery, and we're taking you home, and we're gonna kill you in the arena. And so
And we're going to bring home exactly 6 Thracians.
yeah,
That's going to
and
make up for this.
Glaber, master of the backhand, because he hit Spartacus so hard that apparently Spartacus was unconscious for about 3 days because he wakes up on a fucking boat.
With
And
with stormy water, cold water constantly rushing over him. Like
His buddy's like, I thought you were dead, dude.
yeah,
Like,
Glaber hit Spartacus so hard that the rest of the Thracians thought Spartacus was just fucking dead, and his corpse was chained up in the boat.
the power scaling here doesn't work out because eventually later on, Glaber is never able to show this feat of strength again. No one else does either. It's like trying to power scale these characters is very frustrating.
Anyways, Spartacus is on a boat bound for Capua. Uh, and so now we're getting fairly close to circling back around to that opening scene. We're in Capua, and Glabber just shows up and surprises Alithia, and she's like, "I'm happy to see you. My dad is less happy to see you, but it's fine. He likes to dote on me. I'm his baby girl. It'll be fine."
Well, it's funny because she's like, you showed up way earlier than you should have. It's like, well, yeah, I got orders magically that appeared in my hand and said I got to come home like right away.
So
like, why didn't now I was going to say, why didn't Glabber just continue to go after Mithridates? But I guess they say like the whole Roman army deserted.
Yeah, he apparently lost a lot of his people.
I'm hardly a Roman historian, but I have an audio book for the Spartacus War. That's literally the name of the book, and it does imply that like the way that like these sort of Roman auxiliaries and stuff work is if you are a Roman commander like Glabber or any of the other ones to pop up, you have a designated amount of like genuine trained Roman soldiers, and from there on, it is your job along the way to wars that you go to fight to just like recruit strong dudes, not necessarily trained Roman soldiers, but just strong dudes along the way and this money has to come out of your pocket to feed and feed and take care of all of them. So they aren't necessarily tied to you, and if things aren't going well, these auxiliary soldiers can just go to the wind. If my understanding is correct on it, which again I'm not hardly a historian, but I do.
Leave a comment down below, folks. Is Ronan right about that? Tell us down below in the comments. Engagement.
Glabber's back. Alithia is happy. Daddy Alithia is not going to be happy, but Glabber's plan is I brought Thracians. We've never had Thracians in the arena before.
It's so rare, even though we will see several more in this season. No, that's in the previous season. Okay.
Anyways, he's like, yo, I'm gonna present these Thracians to be killed in the arena. That'll get the crowd on my side, and if the crowd's on my side, then the politicians have to be on my side. And so we go to I don't remember Alithia's dad's name, but it's his house.
Yeah, what was his name?
Albinus, something like that. So they go to Senator's house, and they're gonna have games, and so they're like, let's look at Badiatus and his ludus, and Badiatus, present your men. And so Badiatus comes out, and he presents Barca, and he presents some no-name guy that we don't care about.
What? Put some respect on Crixus's name.
The undefeated
Gaul,
who only has
two actual victories in the entire run of the show.
This clearly the best gladiator of all, Crixus, the man. One thing I will say is what I think sets this first episode apart from like the first episode of House of Asher is everybody that's in this, like gladiator wise, that they kind of focus on is set up like a badass, right? Like Barca and Crixus don't even fight in this, but just walking in, you can tell like these are badasses.
They have like an aura about them.
Yeah,
the House of Asher,
as the kids would say, they're aura farming in the background, as the kids would say,
or as the ancient Romans would say, auctoritas, which was when someone walked into a room and you just knew that was their aura back then. Auctoritas. Spartacus, we see Spartacus kicking ass from the very beginning of the show. Like, we know he can fight. Jumping ahead, he kills like 5 of Salonius's gladiators, actual gladiators, at the end of this episode. And I just was kind of struck by how different everybody in the Luduses seem actually like they are great fighters. Whereas in House of Asher, the main complaint was they all suck. Like, they're all terrible, and nobody cares about any of them. And that's the difference here. I was struck by how different they presented the gladiators in this than they did.
We instantly know the name as like Barca, like the beast of Carthage. That's something you can remember. Never once in House of Asher was this kind of thing tied to any fucking gladiator in that show. There was no the undefeated Gaul
Kid Gladiator. I mean, come on.
We gave him that name.
That was his name, Kid Gladiator.
But none of those characters had anything like that. Here we
Yeah.
instantly know, just being able to point out a character and say, I remember that guy, helps
Yeah.
go a long way to you being able to, build some, credibility with, to like them, because you
Yeah.
know who they are.
I agree.
So,
Keep going, Steve.
Badiatus introduces Barca and Crixus, and he goes. We see Xena for the first time. Lucy Lawless, incredible. Yeah, you praise her.
Aged
And
like fine wine, just beautifully. Ah.
it's this caught me off guard. It's like how reserved the two of them are in this episode
Oh
compared
yeah.
to what we're gonna see later on. But the Body Odyssey is like this is bullshit. I've only got two people. Salonius has six. Good Salonius comes in.
Good
He's
Salonius.
got he's got six gladiators, and these gladiators don't matter because he starts naming them. But then we cut to like Body Odyssey talking, and we just hear the gladiator names being thrown out in the background. Like they're clearly not important.
Red shirts.
Body Odyssey is talking about how this is this is offensive to the honor and glory of being gladiators and whatnot, and we should be doing better. Fuck Salonius. And then in comes Glaber, and Glaber says, for the first time in the arena, I present Thracian blood, and he brings in Spartacus and the other five Thracians, and they're forced to kneel down while all the Romans have their little powwow, and the people are cheering Glaber. They're yay, we're gonna kill some Thracians, and Alithia goes up to her dad and is like, see, look, Glaber is doing a good thing. The
They
people
love
like
him.
him, and Daddy Cinder is like, don't talk to me.
Albinius is his name. You're right. Albinius.
Albinius.
Yep.
Albinius is like, don't talk to me about your shit ass husband again. It's like if
Yep.
you come crying to me about how hard Glaber has it, I'm just gonna fucking ignore you for going forward. So I think that brings us up. I think
Well, we should point out, Steve, this is the very first time we will get a scene that is repeated over and over throughout this series. The orgy sequence. There's an orgy going on in this entire sort of thing, and they actually show in the when I actually laughed when one of the Thracians, and he's like, I have never seen such sights before. It was just like all of these naked women writhing around in the waters and everything glistening and everything like that. And Spartacus or somebody's like, and you never will again or something. It was
Not only
Roman
did you have,
excess.
not only did you have, like, you're like, everyone, like, there's just naked slaves running around, like, licking, like, pierced nipples and stuff, but then the camera randomly cuts to this, like, large rotund man and, like, white with, like, eating grapes in the center, and I was like, so when you're doing these orgies,
Gluttony.
is that like a Roman dude that's there, or is that like a slave who has to, like, portray the character of gluttony? And if so, what do
You're,
we have
you're
to do to get that job?
you're saying that they just have a slave that they just
we need the
overfeed
greasy
constantly
fat
to
boy.
Where's Fat Phineas? Get him out here! Like, maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we need a deep dive into the Roman orgy scenes of this show, because
Well, we did. One of our listeners did post a comment today about he's 6 episodes in now on a rewatch, and he was basically saying we must talk about the size of the gladiators' dicks in this compared to House of Asher. Now, I don't think there's any dicks in this
Yeah, I don't
episode. I don't
remember
remember
no.
any,
any dicks in this one.
but we will get there. And so we got to remember, guys, we have to determine.
We have to remember the like the the algorithm demands we talk about the penises, and
Yes,
we
we'll have to
talked
see.
about the penises in House of Asher, and I promise you, listeners, we will talk about those dicks. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Let's hit that like and subscribe right now, man. Ring that notification bell.
Anyways, Salonius, this is the first time we see Badiatus and Salonius interact, and they're doing the Roman thing where they outwardly they're presenting themselves as friendly, but they're saying things in such a way that each other knows they're like, "Fuck you!" Like,
And good Salonius wants Xena.
yes,
Like
as
Who
do we
he's
all.
doesn't? Yeah, who
yes.
doesn't?
Yeah, good Salonius is like, oh, Badiatus, it's so good to see you. And Badiatus knows that he should take that as fuck you. And Badiatus is like, Yeah, Salonius, it's good to see you too. It's great that you brought so many inferior gladiators. That's really big of you to bring your C rank guys here. And Salonius is like, oh, thank you so much, Badiatus. And Salonius obviously knows that Badiatus is saying fuck you.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we see throughout the show. That's the
It's
double
great.
speak where they say mean things in a way that outwardly, if you weren't really paying attention, you might think they were good things. Anyways, let's get back to present day. Um, it's time. We don't actually of all the criticisms I have of this episode, it would probably be the fact that they're like Barca and Crixus are going to fight, and we don't see Barca and Crixus again the
We
rest of the
never
episode.
see Barca in the arena in the
That's
entire
right.
run of the show. Never.
So they present the Barca and Crixus as badasses, which we know that eventually at least Crixus will be, and they just skip over the fight in this episode. But we're back
Terrible.
we're back at the games now,
Terrible.
and so we've caught back up to the beginning. We see Spartacus. He's in this like prisoner like pit in the arena, and his good friend Drinus that he's known for about 6-7 days now. Drinus dies. And so now it's Spartacus's time to fight. And so Spartacus gets let out. He's given a sword, and out comes one gladiator. And back in the orgy scene, there was a gladiator that pointed his sword at Spartacus, or he was like staring down Spartacus like it was going to be like this very important person. And
Clearly, this
obviously, he's
man is
not.
going to go on through the entirety of the show and be a powerful rival.
Yeah,
And it's going to be epic when we finally see that clash.
yeah, there's a scene where one of Salonius's gladiators is just eye fucking Spartacus, and it looks like this is going to be incredibly important. It's not. So Spartacus, that's the gladiator that presumably was going to be assigned to kill Spartacus, and and so it's time for that fight, and Spartacus walks out, and then out walks this gladiator, and the doors open, and like four more. How many gladiators? Is it
I
three
think it
more?
was 3
All
that
right,
Three, I
come
so
think.
out. I think.
yeah, we end up with like how it's a 4, maybe 5, I don't know for sure, versus 1 fight.
It's an
And
unfair fight, and the crowd
the
sees
crowd
it
is
Yeah.
and
booing.
does not like it. They want their
Uh,
bloodshed, but god damn it, they want their bloodshed
they want
done
fair
fair.
bloodshed.
Yeah.
And
Fair
so
and balanced.
Albinius is like, what the fuck, Glaber? Like the crowd doesn't like this, and Glaber is like, he must be humiliated, and my army deserted because of him. He must be properly humiliated, and so Spartacus is getting his ass kicked. Obviously, it's a 4-on-1 fight. And then he notices that one of the gladiators has a shield with a red serpent on it, and so he's thinking about his wife, and she predicted this.
Because he's on his knees looking
He's
up.
on his knees looking up at the red serpent, and then he doesn't he hear her say, "Kill them all" again?
Yeah. He hears that voice a lot in his head. Kill them all.
He hears her say, "Kill them all," and so he just goes fucking beast mode. And the first one, and he fights these other gladiators off. The first one, he stabs in the stomach, and this character is not important to the show, so for that means that in this universe, a stomach wound would be fatal, so he dies. If you're important, you can tank stomach wounds all the time.
It's similar to how lightsabers in Star Wars have only killed like 2 people, but otherwise they're just incredibly easy to survive.
Just cauterize the wound when they go in,
Yeah.
Ronig. Just cauterize it immediately.
Unless the plot demands that this horribly fatal wound kills you, usually you're just going to walk it off by the next episode.
Yeah, in the world of Spartacus, your abdomen durability is directly linked to your name recognition. And this guy, we don't know his name, so the stab to the gut kills him. Spartacus chops one guy's arm off. He chops both legs off another guy, and this is the scene. Like we haven't really talked about the special effects outside the green screen, but
It's real.
When Spartacus hits someone, like the entire screen fills with this terrible CG blood.
Axe dude comes up behind Spartacus, does this with it, and like blah, the entire like you said, the entirety of your television screen, be it Steve's 13-inch like like Chromebook monitor or my big glorious TV, just becomes filled with blood, and you're like, that would kill a regular man. I mean,
it's very stupid.
It's like 300. It's like 300. They really stylized
the
violence.
first and like there are some bits that you can like that they like. It was obviously a 300 inspired thing, but there are some bits in this of this opening fight where you can see they're trying to stylize this fight, where they attempted some stuff in this fight and they never do it again in the rest of the show for good fucking reason. Like there's a moment where I think Spartacus gets stabbed, and you see like a slow motion kind of like blood spurt, and like I guess it's because of how bad the composition is. It almost looks like a really shitty 3D effect too. Like they like just because the composition wasn't done right, so it looked the perspective
Yeah.
of the blood is not correct. Again, like they ditched this style. I think by the end of episode 2, they're like, no, this sucks. We're not doing this
CG's
anymore.
It's
bad.
real bad.
CG's
Yeah.
By the way, 300 fucking sucks. And so, but
It's not that great.
Whoa.
Yeah.
the kill,
Alright.
the like the special effects scene that really got to me is Spartacus chops these two dudes' legs off. And so we see the guy like
The stumps.
yeah, the stumps. He's
Just
crawling
like
away.
like this.
Instead, instead of the ends of his legs ending in like meat and bone, it's just like
a
red
clear.
voids. Like if you go into like MS Paint and click like the spray paint option and click the red color and just go, that's what the wound looked like. Like
What
on the
I
end of this
thought
guy's
it looked
leg.
like, what it looked like to me was if you've ever watched like Looney Tunes cartoons from like the 50s or Tom and
Like the
Jerry.
ham when they're cutting the hams, right?
Ham.
Yeah.
It's not even a
You're
bone
holding
though.
a bone with meat on it, and there's a clean cut, so there's red and
Yeah.
one white circle. That's exactly what his legs look
Was there
like.
actually a bone there, or did it
There
not
was a
come
white
through in my
circle
little
in the
Chromebook?
center.
I
Maybe
didn't
if
see
you
a
were
bone. It
watching like
just
this with
looked
better
completely red to
resolution
me.
than a 13-inch
terrible.
Pro monitor, you might have seen it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the worst special effect by far, as this guy's leg stumps. But that's the last guy that Spartacus kills. Before that, he has to kill the main gladiator that was staring at him down at the party, and he stabs him like under the chin, and the sword comes out through his helmet. So Spartacus has killed everyone except no-legged dude, but the crowd is cheering death, 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 and so Spartacus kills him. And now it's like, well, what do we do with Spartacus? And Albinius is like, well, that was unexpected. Like, what the fuck? And Glaber's like, his death order still stands. He has grievously harmed me. Like, he must be killed. And Gabinius is like, the crowd fucking loves him right now. You cannot kill this man. And so Badiatus chimes in, and Badiatus says, well, Glaber, let me make you a deal. We can't kill him now, but obviously you want him dead. So I'm gonna take Spartacus as a slave, and I will train him as a gladiator. But look at him; he only won because good Salonius,
Inferior stock.
good Salonius sent his D team in. I got good gladiators. He's like, I doubt he'll even like survive until the next full moon or whatever. Like he will. Like, let me buy him from you.
Badiatus already scheming.
Already scheming. It's like, yeah, I'll let me buy him from you as a slave. I'll train him as a gladiator, but odds are he's just gonna fucking die in his gladiator training. And everyone agrees to this. And so Albinius has to get up and announce that he's gonna survive. And he asks, "What's the guy's name?" And Glaber's like, "Oh." And
Well, I love Glaber's like, I didn't even bother to ask.
Yeah. So Badiatus mentions that there's tales of this old Thracian king named Spartacus, and so Albinius stands up. He gives the thumbs up. We're going to grant life to this man, and they just dub him Spartacus, and that's the episode. Fuck this episode.
I've greatly like the where Badiatus is like leaning in, like this gladiator, like that's the first moment in this episode where you see what we know to be Badiatus's like scheming side come out, and it's also just like his just like the wordplay and the way that like John like John Hannah like plays this character. It's just so fucking wonderful. He just leans in and is like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
man shows great promise by killing so many in the arena, albeit Salonius's inferior stock. It's so fucking wonderful the way he says that. And it's like this is your first taste of of how
Yeah.
Badiatus will be in the rest of the show.
Yeah, for me there are two excellent scenes/sequences in this. First one is Alithia in the tent. Fantastic. The second is everything with Badiatus in it. I'm just gonna kind of put the orgy sequence and this thing on the Polvinus like together because he's only in this episode for less than 5 minutes. Probably.
Yeah, maybe 3 top.
But and of course, Crix is showing up. So number 3. I mean, what am I thinking there? But
The Crixus is even your third man on the totem pole.
well,
Damn.
he's in this for 30 seconds. I mean, you barely see Crixus at all. My problem with this episode is, well, number 1, the CG is horrible. Horrible. Just from the jump, it's bad. And it was very noticeable, at least at the very beginning of the episode, how bad the crowd shots are. They take, like, you see like the same 3 or 4 extras, and they're shooting them from different angles and trying to make it look like this crowd is filled. And then they have like these bad CG people in the crowd for the long shots. It looks so bad that I was laughing through like
It's not quite
everything.
as bad as like, the bad two-dimensional characters in the background of like a WWE game who have 2 frames of animation. Just
It, I don't know, man. It looked pretty bad to me.
it
I mean,
is very bad. It is on par. I'm not saying it's that bad, but they're comparable.
yeah. So the CG, it's just very hard for me to get over the stylization. Even in the opening fights with the Thracians against the Getae or whatever, where they would do these weird things like where it's like they'd hit somebody with a sword and it would be like this weird freeze frame moment.
And then yeah,
and
they
then
really
and then to
wanted.
move forward. I'm just like, this is just ugly. Like a lot of it just looks ugly. I don't think that they really got the dialogue down in this opening episode like they would perfect it later on down the road. You get the great sort of body Otis lines and stuff, but most of the dialogue in this, I didn't feel like it had that Spartacus Shakespearean type feel to it. But on the other hand, the Glaber's a good villain. He shows up, Lithia shows up, John Hannah shows up. We get good stuff from the people we're going to really enjoy, characters down the line. But man, I was telling this to Steve before we started recording. Is like they needed to like save Spartacus's origin story for later on in the season or something. Making this whole first episode the entire backstory of Spartacus with all the bad CG and stuff, it's just really off-putting. And I wish that we would have just started with Spartacus in the Ludus and we got teased his backstory, similar to kind of what they did a little bit with Achillea and House of Asher, where they start teasing out her backstory throughout the season. I wish they would have done that with Spartacus here. At the end, I think what we should do for each one of these is do our sort of like up down. So we'll save to the very end. But I had some problems with this episode. Ronan, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, this has it has a lot of the problems that first episodes will tend to have. It's like I don't watch. Like, I'm not a huge. There aren't that many TV shows that I do watch or actively rewatch, but some of the ones that I could think of, like the show Burn Notice, I do enjoy that show. Lucy
I've
Lawless
never
also
seen that.
appears in Burn Notice,
Oh,
but
yeah, I've never seen it.
so like the first episode of Burn Notice, the first few, similarly, do not match up with how the rest of the TV show will eventually look and feel, but you can tell they're working it out. I remember
Yeah.
watching Metalocalypse, like the first episode of that. They're like, there's moments where they're trying to give guys like, oh, this is going to be his thing. He's going to do for the rest of it's going to be his character thing. He's always got a knife. He's like cutting into stuff. No, that's gone by the second episode because they're experimenting. They're figuring out how the characters are. One of the only shows I can think of that got the characters down right from the first episode and kept them about that way through the entirety, more or less, was Dexter. Because like the characters that they behaved the big first episode is more or less how they keep behaving through the rest of the show. There was no let's radically redesign this, but you could tell with this episode they desperately wanted we're gonna all these fights are gonna be super stylized, and this is how we're gonna make we're gonna do like these cool like stop zoom effects and the blood.
Yeah.
Like they very quickly realized that they can't do that because watching this episode and it carries over into the next episode too because the next episode they want to introduce like Iron Man helmet cam, but
Well, they even like did weird shit with like the sex scenes in this. They like stylized. I mean, they do like weird stylizations throughout the show of this, but like the sex scene between Spartacus and Sura, it keeps going like fades to black. Like every single, it'll like show a shot in slow motion and then fades to black. Then it comes back a new a new position, fade to black. And I'm just like, this is weird to look at. Like just to watch it, it looks unappealing and just kind of ugly. But the bones of greatness are there. Like the characters are there. It's just this first episode
Yeah.
didn't quite do it.
I don't I like, I have not gone back to rewatch our opinions from, like, those earlier episodes, so, like but I don't think this first episode I think the next episode is worse than this one. If my memory serves me correctly, it is the second episode where you're really like, "Woof, this is not good." And then by the time you hit, like, 3 and they're on, it really picks up. But, like, yeah, I don't like, it's definitely not a good episode, but it's also not like, there was no moment in this one like, "Fuck, get on with it." But it's not fair either because I have rewatched this show, not just for us, obviously, but just for my own I wanna watch Spartacus several times. So, I'm just, like, so numb.
When you rewatch it, do you rewatch these first 3 episodes, or do you just start with
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
4 and go in?
when I am rewatching a show, I'll usually just pop it in and keep going. There are some rare exceptions, like, I haven't rewatched Dexter in a while, but I've never finished Dexter because that last season is just yeah, it's so fucking wretched. By the last 3 episodes, I'm like, I'm fucking mad, I can't do this anymore, this fucking pisses me off. Fuck this fucking and then I just stop watching it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll pop the DVD in, hit play all, and also, be honest, it is because I'm lazy, so I'll just pop it in there, hit play all, and lay down and just like have everything playing. But
Okay.
yeah, it's so again, it's not a great episode, but it's also I think the next episode is worse, but like we'll find out when we
So
get
it
there.
seems to me like I'll be curious to see where you ultimately land on this episode then. It doesn't seem like you're as negative on this first episode as I thought you might be.
No, again, it's also again, I will state it's not fair because we have rewatched this so many times, and I know where all this goes.
Yeah.
So it does soften the blow of like, oof, yeah, this is rough. Now, it would have been wonderful if we could have gotten somebody in for this who has never seen this show before and tried to like, force these first couple of episodes onto them and seen how they thought.
Okay. Steve, your thoughts on the Red Serpent?
Stupid. Bad episode. I ever since I first watched these, like my thought has been Spartacus's origin story is not deep enough or interesting enough to sustain 3 episodes of this series. The episode this series should have just at minimum it should have started with Spartacus's final fight in this episode. If we need to cover what was before that, like obviously we have to know what is going on with his wife and whatnot. Sprinkle that throughout the series, like Matt said. I think when Matt and I were talking about this prior to recording, I was like thinking about like the way Arrow did it, where like, every episode, like 5 minutes of the episode would be dedicated to Oliver on the island, and so we see his origin story a little bit at a time. um, yeah, I don't care about most of Spartacus's life prior to him becoming a
So
gladiator.
basically, you hate prequels, and this is like a prequel. These first 3 episodes are like a prequel to you, and you just hate it.
Yeah, I mean it's a prequel to the good parts of the show for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, this I think when we watched this through the first time, I said that the first 3 episodes of this series should have been condensed into one episode, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
Like
you could have.
I don't care about Spartacus's time as a Thracian warrior. Like there's parts of it that we have to know about his wife, his rivalry with Glaber. Speed it the fuck up and move parts of it to future episodes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. They
they had to do this because like historically, and you don't have to follow history for this thing, but if you're crafting a TV show and you need like, okay, well, we have to connect this character to that character to give like drama and all this, it pays off later on, but it does not pay off right here. But, it's like the actual Spartacus is like all that's known is like, okay, before he found his way into slavery, he did at some point serve in the Roman auxiliary. But what got him condemned to slavery, no fucking clue. Nobody has any idea. Like that's a like this was all just like we have to give him a heroic, tragic story and that's why all of this was put in here. And we'll also tie him into his somewhat kind of nemesis Glaber, because he doesn't really have one historically. Although Glaber was the first Roman, the first true Roman legionary who was sent after him, and the one that like his name is like it's just known. Oh yeah, we sent him after, and he died. That's it. That's all that history has on it. So
Yeah. Well,
like
I think like what's also kind of interesting about this show, sort of going forward, is kind of becomes very body artist heavily focused, right? Because once Spartacus is in the Ludus, Body Artist becomes kind of like the main
the
villain, for
puppet
lack of a better.
master.
Like he's kind of like the bad guy, I guess you would sort of speak, and you get Lucy Lawless stuff. In this first episode, we don't get the stuff that we've come to love about this show in here. I mean, they're in it for like less than 5 minutes, and right, we're watching all of this stuff. I don't have a problem with like showing Spartacus's backstory, and sort of I like the idea of it. Like I think the story is sound, but something went wrong when they were sort of like pacing this out or plotting this out. I don't know if it was just, man, this is a 20-minute sort of backstory, and they stretch it out to 60 minutes essentially. But and again, this isn't just us. Like if you listen to the audio commentary tracks, Stephen DeKnight says they fucked up the first 3 episodes. Like he's like, these first 3 episodes, they were bad. It's even he admits that the pit is where the show actually takes off. So it's not like we're like trashing on anything the creator himself hasn't already said is in rough shape. But yeah, I don't know. Luckily, we only have 2 more bad episodes to go, and then it's bangers the rest of the way. So, well, let's go ahead. If we have to, we're on the Pulvinus, right? We've witnessed this episode that's out there in the arena. It's the episode 1 is standing out there. Put our thumbs out. Are we giving this just 50 and a feather? Well, you gotta wait, Steve.
Everyone
Steve's like,
knows our answer unless you're gonna
You gotta
purposely
play
be contrarian right now.
you gotta play with
Matt's
the
going to
part.
be a contrarian because
Yeah.
he knows you and I. He knows you and I are going to give the thumbs down.
Right.
So Matt's going to give a thumbs up.
3, 2, 1. Down, down. I can't be the contrarian on this one. First episode, not great, but it sets up the foundation of a lot of cool characters. And
I want to
Foundation
stress
should
that,
have
like,
been
when we say
smaller.
not great, like, bad, there's a gradient scale of bad in terms of like pure awful, kind of and just kind of mid. This doesn't go all the way up to pure awful, but it is in the bad spectrum.
let me ask you this, Ronan. Was this episode worse than the worst episode of House of Asher, in your opinion?
I don't think it was. No. Again, I'm not
Okay.
trying to say that the show was good, but like that's more testament to even the show, even the bad episodes that they fucked up in Spartacus, like Blood and Sand, and like God of the Arena doesn't have a bad episode. Like despite what a certain commenter wants to say, it's like that show was.
Wrap it up. We've been talking longer than this episode actually lasted.
We're
That's it,
trying to
everybody.
create content.
Hit that like. It's called a watch hour, Steve. It's watch hours.
It's content. We have to figure out a new way to talk about this stuff.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of Jupiter's Croc. Like I said, I'll be dropping these on Saturdays, so I don't have to stay up till midnight trying to export this and rush it out on Friday nights. Hit that like and subscribe, ring that notification bell. Come back every Saturday, and we're going to be talking about the show all the way through. And goodbye. You happy, Steve? We're done.
Then we're gonna watch.
Hitting
Then we're
stop
gonna
now.
rewatch Rome.
Yeah. Leave a comment if you guys want us to rewatch Rome on.
God damn it.